Hey, what is up guys? So today I want to have a discussion video on 6 samurais and their viability in the metagame of Yu-Gi-Oh! And no, I'm not trolling, I legitimately think 6 samurais have a little bit of potential right now in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this all kind of happened from the last YCS that I was watching. There was actually a lot of people playing 6 samurais, and then once they actually featured it, I was like, what's going on here? Like I was, in agreement with a lot of people in chat. I mean, as you can see from the screenshot over here, some guy was like, oh my gosh, 6 samurai raffle, what? 6 samurais, what a joke, 6 samurai X DeeDee. Like, people were making fun of, the guy not only losing to 6 samurais, that's a good player that has, technically won a lot of other tournaments. This other guy, Jen, people were saying that he sacked, and I don't think he sacked. I think that legitimately just his 6 samurais are legitimately like decent in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. And let me go ahead and actually explain why, if you guys are wondering why the heck 6 samurais is so good. Obviously, Vanity's Emptiness is such a good card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But when you add that in combination with Xian, you have such huge potential for you to add a floodgate, which basically is the term that people have been using, which swarm, floodgate, same thing, where you're just able to throw a bunch of monsters on board. Basically, you're investing all of your cookies in the jar into one play. You're basically overextending in a sense. But then when you can throw up a Xian and have Vanity's Emptiness, or even a Turiya Beast, because it's pretty easy to make a Turiya Beast with the asceticism of the 6 samurai. You have the Kagamusha, you have the Elders, so making a Turiya Beast is also another very good thing to make. Like, if you make a Turiya Beast plus a Xian, you basically won the game. Like, there's very few decks that can really deal with that very quickly. I mean, you may, with the exception of maybe like setting Penguin Soldier, most decks will probably lose at that point, especially, of course, if Vanity's Emptiness is already on board. I mean, most decks just, at that point, they can't even play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, let's go ahead and talk about what is meta in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. So, the 3 most played decks, guys, this is basically unarguable. This is not open for discussion. The most played decks that are winning the most tournaments right now are going to be the Burning Abyss and the Shaddoll Burning Abyss, they're kind of mixed in with each other, or just pure Shaddolls, and also the Clips. These are the most popular decks that are doing really well in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. And I think 6 Samurai could basically shine right now because, obviously, you play 6 Samurais, you make a Turiya Beast against Clips, you've instantly won. Like, there's very few things that they can do off the side that they open up with Skill Drain or something like that. You basically have won the game. And if they have Skill Drain, if you made a 6 Samurai Xian, you're pretty much good to go because you can negate Skill Drain, of course. But then they can still activate their stuff. But nonetheless, if they're not able to complete the Pendulum Skill and just dump a bunch of monsters and run over Xian, you're pretty much good to go. And I think that any Pendulum-based deck, I mean, if you make a Turiya Beast, when they're only relying on Pendulums and they have, like, no back row, of course, like I mentioned before, the Clips, some of them do play Skill Drain, some of them drop it completely to add more consistency. They just want to have as many Clip cards and just go speed up their deck as fast as possible, which is understandable because sometimes they can have a bad matchup against Burning Abyss because Burning Abyss has 5,000 traps. Now, you can still make cards like the Naturia Barkion, which can deal with the traps completely, and then you're pretty much okay with that versus the Burning Abyss matchup. Because I feel like Burning Abyss, they have the ability to just keep on dumping out monsters. But if you combo a Xian plus Vanity's Emptiness, like I mentioned before, you basically won the game. Now, some people are like, well, if you have Xian plus Vanity's Emptiness, that's not something that you're going to have super consistent. But here's where I think you guys might not understand this. 6 Samurais has insane deck thinning ability, plus they actually have some drop power. 6 Samurai United is going to be their drop power card, plus they can deck them really hard with a lot of copies, whether it's like their dojos, they have the smoke signals, they have the reinforcements of the army. They have a lot of deck thinning potential, and if they happen to have a 6 Samurai United, or if they happen to have 2 and they happen to be able to special summon a bunch of monsters, and they're going to draw a bunch of cards, potentially they have a higher chance of getting Vanity's Emptiness as quickly as possible without activating something like Pot of Duality, where then they can't special summon, and then them just adding it, and you know that they have Vanity's Emptiness. So you're not going to run into that situation where you, let's say, activate something like Shaddoll Fusion, or you go ahead and special summon multiple Burning Abyss, and then they flip up Vanity's Emptiness, and you're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. Now, of course, there's cards where you can, get rid of Vanity's Emptiness, but most players at the game, the way the game is going, is they're running at least 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. Some players are running 3. Great Hoban actually mentioned that you gotta play 3. That was just his suggestion. I think that a lot of players look up to him, so I'll use him as an example. That MST is kind of needed in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because a lot of decks just can't function. The basic meta cannot function without special summoning. So that's why a lot of players are, at least making 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. And the thing is, if the Turiya Beast is just gonna go ahead and say no to that, or Xian's gonna say no to that, and makes it so you can't do anything. Therefore, you know, it's the simple Vanity's Emptiness. They got monsters on board. In Six Samurais, they can throw out a bunch of monsters on board for the Vanity's Emptiness. Especially if you activate Shell Fusion and they go, okay, I activate Emptiness, you got nothing, and then maybe they have to set one card, and then from there, Six Samurais, if they already have an established board, they can go ahead and attack for game. But that's my thoughts, guys. I'd love to hear if you disagree, agree with me, let me know why. I think it's crazy to say that Six Samurais are actually looking pretty good. Who knows if they'll get some more support. But this is crazy. I think Six Samurais legitimately have a good chance, and the deck's really easy to play, and I'll get some deck profiles from the last YCS that people are playing for you guys relatively soon, because I know everyone wants to play Six Samurais, or the people want to play whatever is winning. It doesn't matter how good it is or how lucky that one guy topped with it is. But the thing is, I legitimately don't even think it's luck, guys. I think that Six Samurais legitimately kind of counter some of the metagame, because their ability to have super consistent hands. In addition to that, they have a lot of potential just to get that extra little draw, and because their deck fitting so hard, they have potential to get that Vanity's Emptiness, and then just be like, you know what, Deterrent Beast, Vanity's Emptiness, go ahead. You know, that's going to shut down a lot of the metagame. But like I said, this video is a discussion video, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes out.